FoxNews.com asked me to write a story about the future of the church and the role live streaming, YouTube, and church online needed to play. They essentially asked me to predict the future of the church, so I did. They called the article "Church as We Know It Is Over, Here's What's Next." And my predictions attracted so much attention when it was posted that within minutes, it was featured on the front page of FoxNews.com, right next to a story about Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi and a story about Alyssa Milano's identity crisis. But by the end of the day, thousands of people had commented on the story, and as of last week, there are more than 5,200 comments on the post. So today, I want to make 3 predictions. My 3 predictions will be about digital engagement and connection, content distribution, and church attendance. So let's start with digital engagement and connection. When social media first took off nearly a decade ago, everyone believed the idea that content is king on social media. But in a webinar I did earlier this year for CMAA, I argued that content is not king, but instead context is king on social media. I argued that while content is obviously important because that's what makes a social media post, podcast, radio show, or a YouTube video, it's context that gives your content purpose. Let me explain what I mean. No matter what industry you're in, I believe the organizations that will make the most impact in the future will be the ones that create posts that meet the felt needs or answer the questions or provide the most needed resources to the audience they are trying to reach, the community where they are based, or the people they are trying to serve. And those organizations will get the most engagement and make the most connections online because their content will be relevant to their context. See, the reality is that content will make a post, but context will make a difference. And it's context that will help you make genuine connections with people online. Now, before you start commenting that online connections are not real connections, let me address this concern. I've had a lot of pastors tell me that church online doesn't count because online connections are not real or not genuine. And I usually have 2 responses to this. First, I ask them if the money they receive through online giving portals, apps, or internet banking counts. Of course it does. And my second response to people who say online connections is not real or doesn't count is to ask them to tell that to a high school student who is being bullied online. Because I can tell you, that sure feels real to the student and to the student's parents. You see, online connections may not be our first choice, but they are often our best choice. And that's why the organizations and people who succeed online in the future will be the ones who drive engagement and connection by making content that is contextualized to their audience. Anyone can make content online. In the future, it will be more important to make a difference online.